Hey there everybody. I'm going to make this quick video to show you how to set up a different sort of specs-based grading scheme on Blackboard. So here I have my Blackboard site for Math 325 Section 2. So what we're going to do is go over to the sidebar. First of all, make sure your edit mode is on. So we're going to be editing some things here. And we're going to go down to the grading center. This is where you enter in grades. Yeah, here we go. We're going to go down to the grading center. Open it up, and then go into the full grade center. Now, there's some pull-down menus across the top of the full grade center, and one of them is manage. So manage, we often use manage to like reorganize the columns in the gradebook, but there's actually other stuff in here. And one of these is called a grading schema. So a schema is what Blackboard calls a way of mapping numerical point values onto whatever you want it to be. Like you could set up a schema to, if you entered in the number 86, and that could map it to a B, for example, and the letter B would show up in the gradebook. This is what we want if we're going to be using a different sort of rubric for our grade reporting in a specs grading class. Like for example, if you're grading things pass, no pass, and you don't want, you could grade something that passes with a 1 and something that doesn't pass with a 0, but maybe you don't want 1 and 0 to actually show up on the gradebook. You just want pass or no pass. A schema is how we tell Blackboard to put the word pass up when there's a 1 and put the word no pass up or fail or whatever you want to say when there's a 0. So we're going to go to grading schema here. I've got some grading schemas already set up for my particular course here. One is the EMRN rubric that we've talked about in the group, and the other is SU, which is satisfactory, unsatisfactory. Let me show you how to set up a couple of grading schemas. One that would be a pass-fail grading schema, and the other one that might be like a 3-point rubric, a 3-level rubric. So we're going to first of all click on Create Grading Schema, and this is going to bring us to a little page here where we're going to give the schema a name. So let's just call it Pass Fail. We don't have to describe it. And down here is the rules that you're going to give to Blackboard for how to put what report into the gradebook. I would like a 1 to be, maybe the way I'd like to do this is I want to enter in a 1 or a 0 for student work for pass-fail. A 1 means pass, a 0 means fail. So what this does is when you go to enter in the item of work, you're going to give it a maximum point total. And anything, right now, anything that is given between 50% and 100% of that maximum point total is going to print off the word A, the letter A, on the gradebook. And anything between 0% and less than 50% is going to print off the letter F. Now, for a pass-fail system, what I'm going to do here is to simply replace A with pass and replace F with no pass. Okay, so what this is going to do is whenever I enter in a graded item into my Blackboard gradebook, it's going to ask for a maximum number of points, and anything that I enter in the upper half of that maximum is going to be pass, and anything in the lower half is going to be no pass. I'm going to click Submit, and now pass-fail is going to show up as one of the schemas in my course. You see it right there. Let me demonstrate how it works. Let's go back to the main grade center. I'll just do that by clicking the back link here, and I'm going to create a column just as a sample here. Create a column, and let's just give it a fake name here, so I'll call it fake assignment. Don't need to say anything else, but the main thing here is for the primary display, I'm going to now select pass-fail. That under primary display, the schema now shows up. So I'm going to select pass-fail. And then points possible. Now, I could do this in a number of ways. I could enter in, say, 10 points possible, and anything that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 would be considered pass. Anything below that would be considered fail. Okay? Because the rule says whatever the maximum points possible I said is, 50% of that or above is going to be labeled as pass, and anything else is going to be labeled fail. Simplest way to do that, if you don't care about points, is just to make a point total of 1. Now, what that means is that when I go to, let me create the assignment, submit. There's some other options here we're just going to ignore for now. And let me go find my fake assignment here. It's probably at the very end. I have a really, really big grade book with a lot of small items, all of which are either pass, fail, or satisfactory, unsatisfactory, or something like that. So here is fake assignment. And under this student here, if I enter in the number 1, I'm going to hit return, and it says pass. Likewise, if I go to the next student and enter in the number 0, it's going to say no pass. So there we've used a schema to map numbers onto letters. Now let's go back and create another schema that's, say, for example, you don't want just pass, fail. You want something like unsatisfactory, good, and excellent, right? So you want to categorize student work on 3 levels rather than 2, or maybe this could also work for 7 levels rather than 2. We're going to go to grading schemas again, and once it comes up, we're going to create a new grading schema, and this grading schema we'll call 3 level, just whatever you want to call it. This is the name that's going to show up in the grade item when you enter it. Now this one, I need to enter in a new level. So I want to say, like, if I enter in, say, like a 2, the student gets excellent. If I enter in a 1, the student gets good. If I enter in a 0, the student gets unsatisfactory. So that's 3 levels. Blackboard only gives me 2, so I need to insert a row. I'm going to do that by clicking the button right here, and that gives me another level. If you wanted like a 7-level rubric, you'd click this, I guess, 5 times. So this time, notice some of the numbers changed here. Whatever I say the maximum number of points is, anything between 50 and 100% of that is going to be, at this point, given A. I would like to change that to excellent. And the next one down, I would like that to be good. And the next one down here, I would like that to be unsatisfactory, or whatever you want to report to the student. Now, the next thing to do is to tell Blackboard how to assign these labels here. You can do this any number of ways. I like having 0, 1, 2. So when I enter in an item that is going to be graded under the schema, I'm going to enter in a maximum point value of 2. And now 0, 1, and 2, anything between, let's say, 75% and 100%. If I enter in a 2, that's definitely between 75 and 100% of the maximum. So that's going to label it excellent. If I enter in a 1, that's going to be between 25 and 75%, and that should be good. Entering in a 0 should label it unsatisfactory. You may have to play with the numbers here a little bit to get it. Sometimes I screw this up and it doesn't report it correctly. So I'm now going to enter in submit, click submit to enter that rubric. All right, there it is in the list. And then let me go back to my grading center. And I'm going to enter in a new column. I'll click on it, chase it around, and click on it. And this one, we'll just call it fake assignment number 2. And again, down here under primary display is where you will see the schemas. And there it is down here at the bottom level. And now I'm going to give it a maximum point value of 2. Now remember, we basically split that point value into not perfectly equal thirds, but 75 to 100%, 25 to 75%, and 0 to 25%. So that should be good to say, like, if I enter in a 0, it gives unsatisfactory. A 1, which is right in the middle, it gives good, and 2, which is at the top end, gives excellent. Let's make sure that actually works, though. Always check to make sure your schema actually does what it's supposed to do. I'm going to go back to the Grade Center and page over to the fake number 2. I think I was actually right on top of it. There it is. And now let me enter in 2 for this guy, and it should say excellent. I'm going to enter in 1 for this person, and that's good, and 0 for this person gives unsatisfactory. Okay, so, and you can create schemas that have any number of levels and any number of mapping rules whatsoever. And this allows you to set up a grade book that really reports things the way they're supposed to in a points-free grading system. So thanks for watching, and wish you much success.